Hey, you good out there in Denver? The altitude didn't get to you today? You all good?
First off, I was there when Neville Gallimore talked about the altitude getting to him. And no, the altitude didn't affect me, but I didn't walk around and do anything. But it, definitely it'll get you because, it happens. And, he's a big boy up front. So he got on that. But no, man, it was hot. Okay, I'm going to say that. It was hot. And I didn't, you heard about, oh, yeah, it'll be hot. You get out there, next thing you know, when the sun jumps on you because you're out there on those fields, it jumped on you, man. So it affected the Cowboys, especially when the second half of the scrimmage. And I asked Nathaniel Hackett, the coach of the Broncos, about it. He said, yeah, he could see it a little bit. And he spoke about how his dad had just walked up a couple steps to get up here. And he said he was feeling it. So he's like, hey, man, that altitude, if you're not used to it, it will get you.
Now, Newy, I mean, I really respect the way that you've covered this organization, and I think a lot of Cowboys fans do as well, because truth to power is something that a lot of people respect. Now, one thing that I've been really considering when it comes to truth in particular is it feels like the Cowboys have told us a lot of things that haven't necessarily come to fruition a lot of times. How confident are you in like the latest iteration of things that they have told us they believe that they're going to do, like getting Tony Pollard the ball, and of course CeeDee Lamb being a large portion of the offense? How confident are you in the execution of the things that they've told us?
Okay, if I'm listening to you and you bring up truth, that means you feel like you've been lied to.
At times, yes? Yeah.
Okay, because the truth requires three things: time, proof, and consistency. So you don't feel like you've got the truth for them, and that's understandable. If you've watched this team intently the last 26 years, you shouldn't trust what they say because it hasn't resulted in anything good. Okay, the last time they won the Super Bowl in 1995 was 3 months before Jerry Maguire came out. Bill Clinton was the president, and Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men had the number one song in the country, One Sweet Day, which you probably don't even know about.
My goodness.
That's so depressing. That is so depressing.
You know what, though? I'm going to make you feel better about this, okay? I worked in Cleveland, and when the entire time I worked there, man, all they lived with was depressing moments. So it's 95 when I'm out there, and the most electrifying moment they could think about was 1964. But that's what they lived with, was all these bad moments. That was just kind of their existence, and I was there when they left in 95 too. So that was what they lived with. I think this is where Cowboy fan is now, especially with Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy's dying for other people's sins. You're just used to the disappointment. Last year, the Cowboys, you won the division. Here come the playoffs. You're about to see us reel the playoffs. And they put the hype video out. And then here come the 49ers walking out with a boom box, punch him in the mouth on offense, make him go 3 and out. Then Jimmy G with a bad thumb, and the 49er offense runs right down their throat. Then the Cowboys with an opportunity with 3:24 to win the game. They go down the field. They look like they don't know how to run a fire drill, and they lose. People are tired of the disappointment. But here's also the thing. If you buy into what they keep selling you every year, then you will be depressed and disappointed. When the Cowboys put up the movie trailer and they tell you how great they're going to be coming this year, the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl champions, if you buy it and you buy that ticket, then you know what, doggone it, be prepared, because we know how the movies ended the last 26 years. Everybody died. Everyone died. So if you want to sit up here and buy a ticket to that again this year, then that's on you. But I've covered this long enough that I'm like George W. Bush. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again. I'm not going to get fooled. I watched them today. The receiving court is an issue, okay? It's an issue. There's things to work on. That's not saying that they can't be good, all right? There's plenty of football teams that, have to find their way throughout a season. But right now, this team's not better than it was last year, the way Jerry's trying to tell us. They got things to work through. They're going to have to run the football for sure. And the one thing I will tell you, if Micah Parsons stays healthy, my goodness gracious, this dude is going to be good, because he was getting after Russ today. Yeah, the Broncos can tell you how they threw a bunch of passes, but if this was a regular game, Russell Wilson would have been sitting around here looking around to see where 11 was, because he kept getting after him.
Yeah, I heard that Micah Parsons was getting after Calvin Anderson today pretty good on the Denver Broncos offensive line. Speaking of the offensive line, Newy, from your observations today, how concerned are you about the starting 5 on the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys going into this upcoming year?
Their offensive line is better than Denver's offensive line. Look, everybody. The thing is, man, I think we look. I'm worried about the 4 or 5 games that Tyron Smith may miss because it's inconsistent. But every team has warts, and that's kind of the problem in Dallas, man. We look at this team and we look at the warts. I don't like this, I don't like that. But every team has got something that's a problem. And even the team that we think is perfect, like Tampa Bay, they brought everybody back last year. Where'd they finish? They didn't finish. They weren't playing the Super Bowl. They ended up getting beat at home by the Rams. So you just have to see, as a coaching staff, how does Mike McCarthy and company cover up the warts that they have? Oh, by the way, today out here, you didn't have Trayvon Diggs. You didn't have Jaron Kearse. Those are two pretty good football players they didn't have. And watching Kelvin Joseph out there, I just look at Kelvin Joseph and I say, there's work to do, young man. There is work to do.
We're talking to Newy Scruggs on the Diamond Factory hotline. Newy, it seems like this team has kind of transitioned to where the tip of the spear is the defense and no longer the offense. Is this defense good enough to carry this team in the way that it would need to be to even get close to Cowboys fans' expectations?
Gonna have to.
Yeah.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, they're going to have to, man. They're going to have to. Because right now, if I'm a defensive coordinator, to me, I say, all right, I'm going to stack the box. You want to run the ball? Fine. We stack the box, stop Zeke. I'll double up CeeDee Lamb. Now Dak Prescott. You and Dalton Schultz and your other receivers see what you can do to beat us.
Newy Scruggs of NBC5 joins right here on the Get Right. When you look at the rest of this team then and what you observed today and now spinning this for as we get ready for the game on Saturday, what do you want to see? Because we're not going to see these starters, really on the offense, especially on the offense, really play on Saturday. What are you looking for based on what you saw today?
I want to see what Marquise Bell does back there at the defensive back spot as a rookie. Want to see some more growth from McQuamu. Want to see how some of the younger offensive linemen like Tyler Smith play. Want to see Dennis Houston at the wide receiver spot. Want to see if Simi Fehoko can catch meaningful passes in the preseason game. I want to see if these kickers improve around here. So there's a lot of things to look to towards some of these backup players. The D-line, look, there's going to be guys that they cut that they'll try and trade maybe before they cut them because they got a lot of guys. By the way, John Ridgway walked off the field. Be interested to see exactly what happens with him. So, what does Clinton Bohannon do? What does Tristan Hill do up front? They've got guys who have a lot to play for. So I would tell Cowboy fans, when you watch the game, go ahead, pull a roster, and get out there and just start to look and see who some of these backup players are that you're going to have to see. It's, along those lines of your backup tight ends. Just look for guys who are going to need to be contributors during the season. With 17 football games, guys are going to get nicked up, they're going to get hurt, and you're going to need to see what they can do. Look no further than what we saw Halloween night when Cooper Rush had to go out there on Sunday night and play against the Vikings. So these games are important, and it's important to look at the depth here.
Newy, out there in Denver, we finally get an opportunity to see these guys against another team. And I know while we were talking about the offensive line, there's concerns. The defensive line has looked really good in Oxnard. How did this defensive line, particularly with the interior defenders, Osa Odighizuwa and Neville Gallimore, how did they look today against the Broncos?
You can't bring guys down. They weren't trying to, take guys down. So in some ways, I think it was a little bit unfair on both sides. I know there's video of Bradley Chubb coming and tag Ezekiel Elliott. You probably gave him too much mustard, more than he needed to out there, what they were trying to do on the field. But here's the ultimate thing. Against Leonard Fournette in game 1 and Joe Mixon in game 2, they better stop the run because that was the key to beating the Cowboys last year. Beat them up, run the football. How'd you lose in the playoffs? 49ers ran the ball on you. So figure out how to stop the run and how to keep your defense off the field for 30 minutes, and then you're going to have an opportunity to win some football games. They're improved. They got guys a little bit better. Everybody's bought into what Dan Quinn does. But I can sit around here and talk about it all day long, but we got to see it. And that's starting Saturday night. We need to start to see some things.
What did Dak have to say after practice today as he addressed the media based on what he did today in his practice?
I love Dak. Between Dak and Russell Wilson, it was cliche city. And who could be the most positive guy ever? I mean, these are guys who could look at can look at your ugly baby and tell you how this is the prettiest baby they've ever seen. And if only the baby had a couple strands of hair, it would be like Miss America baby. I said, Dak, do you think you got the better of the Denver defense? Oh, yeah. I just let that sit there. So he's not going to say anything bad. He's just not. There's work to do. He and CeeDee Lamb had some nice catches together, but there's work to do. If I'm Mike McCarthy, I feel good about it. Dak also thinks that, they're going to be fine, but that's him, okay? That's him in general. The same thing with Russell Wilson. Between the both of them, I don't know who was more positive, okay? They should make like a daily affirmation tape in the morning so they can tell you how good you are and how you're a star and a champion and you're going to have a championship day and they believe in you and all the good work you put in. So that's who they are. They're going to be positive guys. And I don't mean that in a mean way. That's just who they are. If you're coming to them for truth, they're not giving it to you. They're going to give you the platitudes and keep it cliche, and they're not giving you any of that because they feel like that stuff should stay in-house, which I think they're correct, and let the coaches get out there and say anything that they think is positive or anything they think is negative. But they're not where they need to be now, and that's okay. That's all right. It's a work in progress, man.
And with this team not being where it needs to be, I'm interested in seeing if this roster is where it'll stay. Do you get any inclination that there will be any moves made here soon when it comes to maybe signing or trading for a wide receiver or maybe a tackle or something of that nature?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I thought they would let the kickers get through the preseason game, but they decided to make a move before that. So I'd be sitting up here lying if I tell you I know exactly what Steven and Will are going to do. So I don't know. We shall see. We shall see what the injury situation tells them along the way here. Mm-hmm. So it's fluid, man. That's the biggest thing I can tell all Cowboy fans right now. Everything is fluid. And the way it may start is not the way it may end. Who had Cincinnati in the Super Bowl last year? Nobody did. So these things are fluid, man. Sports is fluid. And as much as you want to think, hey, this is what it's going to be right now, it's football. Too many things can happen. You just don't know.
Well, we didn't get him in trouble, so we did our jobs here tonight. But you can catch him tonight on the 10 o'clock news, of course, on NBC5. You can find him on Twitter at Newy Scruggs. He's the NBC5 sports director, Newy Scruggs. Newy, appreciate the time. I hope you enjoy your time out in Denver this week, sir.
Everybody pray for Jerry now, okay?
As long as you're not asking him questions, he'll be all right.
Later, guys.